Good evening, everyone. Tonight is Saturday, February 6th, 2021. Tonight's speaker meeting will host Shannon. And Shannon, I guess, was here before I was, and then took a hiatus while she gave birth and came back to us. And me being me, I wanted to hear her story. And so I reached out to Shannon, and she was willing to give it a crack. And she said her 2 words was humbling growth. So I found some fitting words about humbling growth for tonight. With everything that has happened to you, you can either feel sorry for yourself or treat what has happened as a gift. Everything is either an opportunity to grow or an obstacle to keep you from growing. You get to choose. And what this quote tells me with humility, I mean, the whole process of growth is a humble experience. If I choose to look at it that way, and every opportunity in life is an opportunity for growth. And I like how it says that it can either be an opportunity for growth or like an obstacle in my way. So it's really just about perception here. So with that being said, Shannon, let's hear your story.
Hi guys. Travis, I wish you would have waited till like yesterday to ask me to do this because I've had all week to anxiously fluster about it. So I'm Shannon. I'm an alcoholic. I have like a couple of sober friends and had to like ask them. They gave me all their notes on how to do this because was completely like, I have no idea. So I guess I was planning on starting just when I started drinking, but after our meet with Omar last Wednesday, I feel like a lot of my beginning comes from a lot further back, as far as like trauma and things of that had happened to me, and just the whole like being a runner type of mentality. So I guess I'll start there. So I have had a lot of loss in my life, and I've had a lot of trauma in my life, which are things that I never really would have ever come to terms with or anything like that if I hadn't started here. Yes, us alcoholics love our cats. So I feel like a lot of it started, I came from an alcoholic mom and in a very narcissistic individual who sent me to a boarding school, fairly by my choice, fairly not. And with that, that was why she drank, is because I left her and all of that. And I was 10, and she made sure I knew that was why she drank. And so it started there and kind of just snowballed out of control. I lost my father fairly young. My mom and him did not get along. He loved me very much and was a really good dad, just never really could get it right, and she never really would let him either. So fast forward, I guess my dad passed away, and that's kind of when I kind of hit my like downward spiral of guilt and unhappiness just in general, and really trying to find my place. After a little while after that, my mom started dating a man that was very much an abuser and an alcoholic and an addict, and beat both of us often. And when given the choice, she decided to choose him. And my family got real tired of having to come and save me and get me out of that situation when I was in my teens. So that was the choice we give her, and she chose to stay with him. So I moved out. Shortly after that, I had a boyfriend that I was dating that overdosed. And I was 18 at that time, graduated high school, went a little bit more downhill after he passed away. And but I guess I kind of skipped ahead a little bit. My first drink was when I was 15, and it was not a pleasant experience. I don't know what this cat's doing. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So it was not a pleasant experience. I drank a lot of vodka, and men that were much older than me took a little bit of advantage of me and some of my friends. And I guess I feel like that was when the real running started, where I had to run away from those feelings and block that away. And I did, because I hadn't remembered that memory until last Wednesday, when Omar asked me what my first experience was like. And so I completely had repressed all of those feelings, and I never dealt with it. And I think that has a lot to do with my anger as a person. I don't know. So I've been definitely doing a little bit, oh my God, hold on. A little bit of soul searching from that, just trying to really trying to come to grips with that and come to terms with that. And why did I, he's back. And why did I want to go back to it? Why did I want that in my life? You know, all it's done is bad. You know, I whenever my mom and her boyfriend would drink, they'd beat the shit out of each other and me. And you know, I blacked out and was taken advantage of, and just all of those things added up. My boyfriend died from this. Like, why couldn't I stop? I don't know. And I don't know. And I didn't really care at the time either, because I don't know, I just didn't think of any of that. All I thought about was how to not feel anything anymore, and how to not have to deal with it. You know, after I realized how I could feel when I was drunk, or when I would do painkillers and things like that, like, I had a lot of guilt that I wanted to get rid of. And I had a horrible relationship with my dad because my mom wouldn't let me have one. So, and you know, after he passed away, I found out a lot of things that she did, and it caused a lot of guilt and a lot of anger that I just wanted to make be quiet. And I think that's really the appeal of that was the appeal of drinking, was that. And for me, I never had a problem. You know, I was, you know, now like what, 22, 23, and it's cute, you know, like you go out, you party, you do this, and you go to work on 2 hours of sleep, and oh, you're so hungover. That's cute, you know, like, and you just play it off like that's what you're supposed to do. But I slowly learned that it's not, you know, that my friends were also my age going out and having a beer while I, you know, blacked out. And I, you know, I could never relate to that. I could never understand why would you go out to just have one beer, you know, like we're going out to be drunk and in that sense. And fast forward, I guess I made a real mess of my life. I off and on, I go through spurts of problems and spurts of complete chaos. And oh my God, I'm gonna kill this cat, guys. Oh, pardon him, let him stretch. Okay, we're back. So just, I guess just that. I mean, I don't know if there's ever really one thing that really, well, I guess there was. I mean, my husband is a very good, calm, patient individual. And anything good in my life, I tend to want to ruin or destroy and, just make a complete mess of. So, I guess we got married and started to think about having kids, and that became really scary to me too, because, can I be a good mom? Can I do these things? I don't know. I wasn't raised by one, like, to know what's right and what's wrong. And so that became a big stressor, and I pulled away a lot, and I just completely shut down. We got married, and that was wonderful and great, and I blacked out then too, and that's not fun. Like, who doesn't want to remember their wedding? And so I don't know. I mean, I had our son, and I thought that, that meant I had a handle on my drinking, because when I was pregnant, I only drank like 3 or 4 times. I must not have a big problem, but then I had him, and it was hard. It was, it's harder than I thought. And that was a really big trigger for me, is that I had to take care of this tiny little human now, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know, I can't ask my mom, like, she doesn't know what she's doing half the time, and I don't, I didn't have anywhere to go to, so, I would turn to my friends that would drink, and I would leave my house and not tell my husband where I was going, or things like that would happen, and that's when it started getting really out of control, is that point, and I would just be gone for hours at a time, or things like that, or I would have girlfriends that have kids that would want to go out for a drink, and we'll be right back, and leave them with someone else. And now that I look back on it, like how shitty, like what a bad thing that I did, and just little things, like I couldn't throw my son a birthday party without being like shit-faced at it, or I had to throw it on a Sunday, so I had to take Monday off, because how am I supposed to go to work on Monday if I'm hungover from Sunday when we partied? Like, just things that now that I say them just seem absolutely absurd that I had to do. It just seems insane to me that those are the kinds of things that I had to think of throwing a first birthday party for my child, or, and I decided to, well, my husband kind of decided he was at his wit's end, and fair enough. And I didn't really know what to do. And I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. I did not know what to do. I did not know where I'm supposed to go. I did not know, I didn't know I had a drinking problem. I didn't know. So, well, I guess before that, if I'm going to be really honest, my last straw was, when I finally started to see myself as the problem, was I drove our son in my car while I was drunk, and thankfully nothing happened to him, and we were all okay. But that was kind of my point when I woke up, and I was like, holy shit, like I just did that. Like I'm the problem. But the next day I went out again, and didn't really know what I was doing. Went out with a girlfriend who's very much an enabler. I love her, but she's very much an enabler. And I went out with her and met one of her friends, and she said, we were getting ready to have a drink with her, and I asked her what she wanted, and oh, no thanks, like I'm not drinking tonight. And it's like, how the fuck could somebody ever think, like, oh, why would somebody ever say that? Like, what do you mean you're not having a drink tonight? Like, I don't remember what we were playing. We were playing the game where it's like on a real long table and you slide the discs or something. I can't remember what it's called, but it was at the VFW or something like that. And I can't remember what it was, but it's like, we came out to do this. Like, you have to have a drink. Like, anything you do outside of your home is an event to have a drink, you know? And so I had to sit down and I had to ask her, and why are you not drinking? And she told me she thought that she might have a problem, and she needed to take a break, and that she was going to these meetings down the road, and like, I just kind of got real emotional, and she asked me if I wanted to join her, and she said, you know, I just go just because I feel like she played it down for me to be a little less intimidated by it, but I just go because I want to just see what it's about, and you know, you don't have to make any kind of decisions, you know, you might as well just come, and da. And so I did, and I thought all of you people were crazy. And everybody says the same things together, and everybody's happy and everybody's nice, and didn't make any sense to me at all. But no, it was a really interesting experience. I don't remember much. I just remember being so overwhelmed by the fact that these people talk like me, and their stories are like mine, and things like that. And I don't know. And then I dove into the podcast world, and Tori knows how passionate I am about my podcast. That we called Recovery Elevator, and I probably wouldn't be sober without it and without you all. And I found you all because of this podcast. So everything really just snowballed for a reason. I don't know. I mean, I have learned over the past year of sobriety that that I have to admit that there were things out of my control that caused, I don't know, not caused me to be this way, but attributed to how I am. And I can't sweep those things under the rug. I can't pretend that they're not a big deal. You know, I can't pretend, I can't not use the word trauma, because that's what happened. And that is a big word for most of my childhood and young adult life, was trauma. And it is. And most people's parents don't beat them. Most people's parents don't choose men who do drugs and alcohol constantly. And most, you know, those are normal things that, you know, I had always convinced myself were normal, and they're not. And you know, it's not normal for I don't know, it's probably for an 18-year-old to lose the amount of people that, you know, that I have. Those are things that need to be dealt with. I can't just drink those things away. Like, I have to have that closure. I have to say goodbye to those things. I have to embrace all of that hurt that I ran away from my whole life. And I can't be embarrassed about it, because, you know, then I'm never going to talk about it, and it's never going to get better. So I guess, like, the biggest thing for me in my recovery journey is to be able to, you know, jump over those hurdles and work on how to embrace all of that. Because as terrible as some of those things were, like, they made me who I am. You know, I wouldn't be here with, this one is still nice. Like, she's still sweet, you know, with this one and my terrible 2 toddler. I wouldn't be here with them if all of those things that happened to me didn't happen to me. You know, I always play that game because it's interesting to think of. You know, I had a daughter when I was 18 that's adopted and lives in Chicago. We're very open, but, you know, I always say, like, my dad, if my dad would have been alive, he would never have let me give her up for adoption. Like, he would have made me keep her. And I'd probably be living in a trailer somewhere with this poor little girl that like had no chance at a life, you know, if I go that far back, you know, and I would never have met my husband. I probably wouldn't be in school. I probably wouldn't have, you know, graduated and done all of these things that I've done for myself. So it's just, or if, you know, if my boyfriend in high school had overdosed and passed away, like I probably would have, you know, that would have been me. It would have been, because it just would have. Those are just, that's just the way it is. And so I guess that's really my biggest thing is the hurt and embracing it and realizing that it's not always, it's not all bad. And it got me here and it got me to you all, and I hope I never have to do it all over again. I really don't want to. And I would, you know, I am grateful every day that my children don't see me drinking, and you know, I have made a complete fool out of myself several times, and I'm just glad that I don't have to embarrass my kids that way. There's plenty of other things that I could do to embarrass my children that don't have to involve drinking. And so I just need to really focus on those things moving forward. And I just, I don't know, that like I had a whole plan of how this was gonna go, and I feel like I'm completely scatterbrained now because after that Omar talk, like I'm completely fucked up. Like I'm so sorry. Like it really put me in a weird headspace. Like he put me in this weird place with all the things we talked about, and it was not at all what I thought we were gonna talk about. It went in a whole different direction, and it brought all these other things to light that I just was really blown away with. So anyway, my story is short and sweet, and yeah, that's all I've got. It's not all that exciting. I'm sorry.
Well, I want to say thank you for your courage and your vulnerability and your bravery. You know, it doesn't really matter how intricate the story goes. It's, you know, you showed up and you did the work to heal, and I think that's important. You know, I've got another almost a full page worth of notes, you know, so I can relate to your story. I've been able to take almost a full page of notes on everybody who shared. You know, I'm starting to notice more and more that a lot of our traumas do occur in childhood. And a lot of us find ways to just sweep it underneath the rug, whether it's taught to us by our family or our environments or whatever it was. And then at some point in time, drugs and alcohol or something was found as an escape. And then we just put that on the back shelf and it collected dust. And then we forgot all about it until someone like Omar probes it out of us. Or we come to a place like this and are willing to pull it out of ourselves and do the work, you know. And that's why I think this space is important, is because as much as it is for the individual sharing to get stuff out, it also is a way for us to relate and to, you know, just deepen the community support here and well. You know, I relate to a lot of the things you said, you know, like being a runner. I was always running like literally like around the yard, like all the time for fun, but also in life. Like I was just running from life from as early as I can remember. And most of my awakenings were behind the wheel of a car. Like I spent most of my life saying I would never drive drunk, but I accumulated 2 OWIs. I don't have a car. My license is suspended at the moment. And I was actually in a position where I called the police on myself because, you know, just like you were with your kid, I was like, holy shit, I'm driving drunk. I am a problem. I am a problem. And I cannot control this impulse to drink all the time. I was a man who would be so drunk and so god awfully pissed off at himself that I'd go to bed early, promising myself I wouldn't drink, but I'd be at the fucking liquor store at 1 p.m. the next day getting a half pint or a pint just to do it all over again. And I would and it was a vicious cycle, and I didn't understand it for the longest time. And there was a point in time, fortunately, I was able to do work a couple of times and come to those, come to the spot where I needed to do the work. And, so as far as, being exciting or this, that, and the other, I enjoyed the story. I think you did a great job. It takes a significant amount of courage to come up here and just cut yourself up and be willing to do that and heal. And I have full faith that if you are willing to use your words to humbly grow over the course of your life, that you have all the tools inside of you to do so. You just got to show up and do the work. And I'm proud of you for showing up here tonight and doing that. Does anybody else have any words of love or wisdom or questions for our lovely Shannon tonight? Craig.
My name is Craig. I'm an alcoholic from Chula Vista, California. And Shannon, I say it every week to everybody. You know what? Your story was you. And it takes so much courage and guts to get up there and tell it. And you know what? You are a fucking warrior. And you know what? You need a badge that says that you are, and it should be fucking really big, warrior. I mean, you are. And you know what? By you telling your story, I'm able to connect more dots. And you know what? I give you all the credit in the world. And Desiree and I are sitting here and we're watching you with your baby. You know, we pinned you so your picture would be like the whole size of the screen, right? And we can see this little tiny baby and how much you love this little baby. And you know what? I just wanted to tell you that. And you know what? Big time warrior, and you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. Not a minute too soon, not a minute too late. You're right where you're supposed to be. And thanks for sharing your story. Did you want to say hi?
Hi, Shannon. Desiree alcoholic. Hi, guys. Shannon, thank you so much for coming on here. I get choked up, I swear, at a drop of a hat, but I have to say that I love the fact that you came on here and you lay it all out. And like Craig was saying, it takes a lot of guts to do that. You know, and you were saying how uncomfortable you felt like earlier. And I really think the uncomfortable feeling is like the growth, you know, because sometimes we have to get through all the shit and the pain and everything to grow, you know, just like, you know, and it's not exactly, but like, you know, you have a baby, it hurts like hell to have birth and everything, but look at the product of that. The product of that is a beautiful human being that I really hope she never experiences her mom drunk, you know, and that's the giving back of life, you know. She never needs to know all this stuff, and you know that can be your legacy. You can stop all the hand-me-downs of life that happen right here, you know, and move on. But the only way you do it is through the uncomfortableness, you know. But keep talking about it and more will come out, you know. But it's like a splinter. You gotta dig at it and get it, you know. Otherwise we're not going to have any healing. But I just want to say I appreciate it. I am I'm endeared by just seeing you rocking your baby. I just think it's the most beautiful thing. And and I love the kitty cat in there. I swear to God, the cat looks like a rug, you know. But I just thought it was just funny because this is all the quirks in life. You know, we can't have a perfect experience of anything really, you know, and but thank you so much for sharing that.
The hand-me-down of life. I like that.
Tori.
Tori, alcoholic. Let me lower my hand. Oh wait, did it go? Okay. Shannon, I'm so proud of you, and I just love you so much. I just think back to, like, was it a year ago when like we first met? And you would have never said, and I mean, you would have never laid it all out there like this. And you would have just said, I'm fine, I don't need to talk, you know. And so like, and I know you had a baby and life has happened, but you're back and you're here and you're showing up, and you know, that's what truly matters. And so, you know, I remember like texting you and be like, come to the meeting. And you're like, I don't know. But you know, I just admire you and so much. I can relate to you on a lot of different levels, especially kind of what Travis said with the running. You know, I did anything to get out of myself, and to experience that incredible amount of loss and that incredible amount of trauma, and taking the stance and the perspective of how you look at it today, is just, it's so cool to see. And I just love you and your little family, and I'm always here for you. I'm always rooting for you. And yeah, so I think that's all I have.
Anyone else have any words they'd like to share with us? I know that I guess you're 27 as well as I am, and Tori is 28, and Stephanie is another. She's not in here, but she's same age as us. So I know that for me, one of the things that I like about that I found about this platform is that I have found people in my age group for once, right? But also that there's a huge there's just a massive cultural blend of all age groups and stuff. But it's nice to be able to relate with people in my generation with similar experiences to me. You know, because just life, you know, like life growing up in the 90s and 2000s isn't what it was in the 70s or whatever, you know, for whatever you want to call it. And one of the things that I correlated between all of our stories was that trapped inside of social norms. He said, how, you know, I was going to a bar to get drunk and fucked up. Like, I was thinking the same way, like, you guys are just having one beer? Like, what's the purpose of going to a bar? I came here to have a good time, right? And all along, I'm thinking that is normal. That's a normal thinking for me, because for a lot of my life, that was shown to me I watched a lot of that stuff on MTV and in music videos and on YouTube, and that's just a culture that I chased. You know, and I just felt that was a social norm for me. And it led to a lot of self-denial for me as well, for the longest time, because my normal was so different than everybody else's normal that I thought that I was normal, that it was easy for me to deny the fact that I had a problem until I became like the constant problem in all the problems, you know, like different shit would happen and I would be involved in different times, but it took like 15 or 20 different instances for me to realize that I was the consistent drunken fool in that scenario all the time. And once I started correlating that I might have a problem in my life, it became a little easier to accept, but it didn't become easier to like work on, you know? And I guess really it's just not an easy thing to work on. It takes effort, it takes courage, you know, coming here to do things like this, you know, running away from the insanity and reestablishing new thinking patterns and new behaviors and new ways of living. Like that's it's not an easy thing to do at all. But it's a worthwhile journey, you know. You get to live a life knowing that, well, shit, my life was, I didn't have good parents, but how can I be a good parent for my children? What kind of services can I offer for this world moving forward? You know, all the things that I wanted for me, I now have an opportunity to give to others, you know, and that's one of the greatest things that I appreciate about being able to get it early, you know, to still have a life to live and to still do righteousness in my life. You know, I think it's great that you're sitting here. You know, your kids won't have a good enough of cognization to understand that you were drunk. They might not ever know that you were drunk ever, you know. And that's a beautiful blessing. That's it's huge on them if they're not exposed to that, and you can give them a beautiful life. And I know for me, I mean, my dog, he's not a human being by any means, but I'd be damned if he's not my child. And been many drunken nights when I was looking at him in his eyes and just torn apart, you know, like, fuck, I'm drunk again, dude. Like, we're here again, man, you know. And I went to jail, I went to rehab, and I was torn, and I was physically separated from him from my drinking, and that was never enough, you know. So I think it's a great thing to, you know, I think it's important to always do sobriety for yourself, but when you have the motivational factors of being a good parent or making sure that the people around my life don't go down the path that I went to, is it's motivating to me, and I'm encouraged that you're able to come here and, you know, share your story while rocking your child the whole time. You know, like, it's it's a beautiful thing. Anybody have any words tonight? Any other words they'd like to chime in here?
Yeah, I do. Hello, everybody. I couldn't help but thinking when you were talking about the three of you that are all kind of the same age, or four of you, you know, I'm sure you look like you're got a handle on what you're doing and are going to move forward. But please, please don't. I started using when I was like probably 13. I started going to treatment centers probably when I was about 16. And AA at the time. And I've been through I'm 56 years old. And a couple years ago, I got a year of sobriety. And it took me all that time just to get a year, you know, getting it and not. I mean, I'll tell my story some other time, but please, please hang on to what you have, because, you know, you might not think you have it so great, but I forgot what I was going to say. I'm so sorry. I think you guys know what I'm trying to say. Don't keep going it over and over. You can waste your life away. If you've got it now, hang on to it. Because if you don't, you keep going, and you can keep going in and out, in and out, in and out. My life today is better than I could have ever imagined. I'll share that another time. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Dawn. And you know, that's one of the things that I struggle to appreciate in NA and AA, I guess. But all of the people who are older than me are telling me that they're so happy to see me in the rooms, you know, and I'd be like, you know, but it's just the insane thinking. You know, I'm not Superman. If I'm 25 or 55, there's no fucking difference. Like, I got to deal with, and I think it's just the strength of each other helps you know go on. You know, I am no more or less susceptible to my disease than anybody else, and just it's nice to be able to relate to many different people in many different ways. Susan, I saw you had your hand up briefly. Did you still want to share?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Shannon, I'm so impressed with your honesty and vulnerability. I really admire you, and you sitting there rocking that baby, like Desiree said, that just chokes me up. And I think, you know, for sharing your traumas, I think a lot of times when there's childhood trauma, that denial becomes such a strong part of stuffing all that down, and you want to, you know, escape from that. But you're on a path of awakening right now. And I think every little awakening that you have is just a testimony to your journey that you're on. So you sitting there rocking that baby, it's like a new life, you know? And I just wanted to tell you that I really admire you. So thanks.
Thanks for checking in. And Shannon, you've got a fan club and your babe with your baby in your rocking chair, so you might have to bring that in more often, I guess.
She's my emotional support baby, so she is to hang out with me. Also because she doesn't like her dad very much, so. But I do have to corrections corner myself. I'm 28. I forgot.
Yeah,
I said I was 27, but I'm 28. My husband he's like, no, you're not 27 anymore. And he was right. I was wrong. Age goes out the window.
I do that. Yeah, it does. I do that all the time. I've called myself 26 before. I'm like, I haven't been that old for like a year now. Whoops. It happens. Billy, what's going on, buddy?
Billy's good, buddy. Good meeting. Thank you, Shannon, for your share. God bless you. God bless you, baby. I started in recovery when I was 29. I was told that if I was a smart cookie, I only had to do this once. And I picked up on that. And and I stayed. I did not go back out for no research. And life is life. Things are gonna be good at times. Sometimes things are not gonna be that well. So the thing is that having the support of the groups, of the people, I think makes it a lot more easier, in a sense that I'm not alone anymore, and I don't have to run to drugs and alcohol anymore. We all have our regrets. Everyone in this world has regrets, but the trick is not to let the regret have me. Because if I'm too busy looking at the doors that are closed, I won't see the doors that are opening in the process. And that's the important thing, to pay attention and be aware of the doors that are opening now in my life, and just do what I have to do with whatever has been my life in the past, recently, whatever it has been. I choose to turn it over to the care of God. It tells me that I can make that decision, that God can take care of a lot of stuff, and that God can do for me a lot of stuff that I couldn't do for myself. So if I continue in that frame of mind, I keep getting better. And I can see that in myself, because if I compare myself to July 2019 to February 2020, it was bad. I was deep. I don't know what happened, but it happened. And with all the years I've had in recovery, and not being on this planet became like a good idea for the first time in my life. And that happened because of situations that out of my control. They just happened. It was like a switch, switches just started going on and off. And I had no control whatsoever. And then I just lost it, totally lost it. And I had, you know, my years in sobriety and, you know, but I decided to do what I've always done, stick to the group, stick to the people I knew from my home group, from my AA group, talk to them, cry to them. And then obviously God always comes in, and one day looking in the internet, I found this group and I decided to come to a meeting that night. And Craig knows how many months I have. I don't know, but he surely knows. You know, I'm somewhere around 5 or 6 months, I guess. Six in Sobriety Engine. And this place has become like my daily thing, man. Like, I gotta come to this meeting before I go to bed. You know, right now it's gonna be 11 in Puerto Rico, you know, so this is my meeting. Oh yeah, Craig is my counter, my sobriety counter, Sobriety Engine counter. Oh yeah, yes he is. And you know, and the cat thing, you know, it's okay. You know, I love the hairy little thing, especially when he's stretched. You know, I know he could stretch more. I can make him stretch more. But yeah, I love cats. Yeah. So you're a miracle, girl. Keep coming back. God bless you. Thanks for letting me share.
Thanks for sharing, Billy. We're glad you're here. We're glad you found the platform and that you lean on Craig so much to count your days for you. And we all know how much you love your cats. You know, there was talks of a microwave a little while ago. I don't know if we ever followed through on that patent yet or not, but we'll we know it's in the works, I guess. Yeah, Craig said not today, I guess. Craig apparently has the gavel in the Sobriety Engine, as it sounds like. So he's got something going on for him. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share with us tonight? Support Shannon or
all the cat stretch, and immediately he sent me a message. No microwave today, because he knew I was really looking at it, you know, like, what is that thing gonna do to the baby? He better not get close to the baby.
They're all good friends, I promise. Nobody gets hurt.
You bet. If he's in Puerto Rico, he ain't gonna get hurt either. Don't worry.
All right. I guess with that being said, Craig, do you want to take us out tonight?
Absolutely. Shannon, thank you again so much. You know what? You're a great warrior, and you told a great story. And we could all have a moment of silence for the still sick and suffering, and throw an extra one out there for Ryan, Gail's son. And we'll end it with the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity
to accept the things we cannot change,
the courage
to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Amen.
Coming back.
Coming back.
It
Work it. Travis, thank you for your service, my brother.
Absolutely, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Be well, everyone.
Have a good one. See you tomorrow.
Guys.
Owie.